Hi, I'm Fire Chief Donna Mays. Today we're at Fire Headquarters. Welcome to the Weekly Report. March 8th is Spring Forward. When you're changing your clocks, remember to also change the batteries in your smoke detectors. A properly installed and maintained smoke detector is your family's best protection in case of a house fire. Almost 2/3 of home fire deaths happen in homes without smoke detectors. If your home needs a smoke detector, please call our office at 816-513-4648. And be sure you and your family have a plan on what to do in case of fire. This includes how to get out of the house during a fire and find a safe meeting place outside. Spring weather also brings spring storms. Remember, on the first Wednesday of every month at 11 a.m., the city tests its outdoor tornado warning system. These sirens are designed to be heard outdoors only. Every home should have a weather radio to stay informed about emergency weather. You can also sign up to receive text alerts from Alert KC by texting your zip code to 888-777. Alerts are sent for tornado warnings, severe thunderstorms, and other urgent matters. Everyone should have a severe weather plan. Check out this video on how you and your family should prepare in case of a tornado.
When the storm comes, the twister forms, and the wind starts ripping things away, you'll ask yourself, how prepared or unprepared are you? Do you have a shelter, a safe place to go, something to shield you that's easy to get to? Is it stocked with all the things you need? Water, food, and batteries? What about your family, your kids? Do they know what to do, where to go, and how to stay in touch? If a watch is declared, a tornado might be on its way, getting ready to blow things away. Stay informed, wait for updates. And if you're outside or out for a ride, move close to somewhere you'll stay safe. When a watch becomes a warning, you have to act fast. Get to safety, do not delay. Go as low as you can and hold on tight until everything is all right. Once the storm has passed and you get the all clear, take your supplies. Now, you must be wise. Move carefully. Watch out for dangerous debris. Protecting yourself is a necessity. So before the storm comes, the twister forms, and the wind starts ripping things away, get prepared. Make a plan and practice what to do to stay safe. America's Prepare-a-thon. Be smart. Take part. Prepare. Get started today. Go to ready.gov/prepare.
As the first female fire chief here in the city of Kansas City, Missouri, I'm excited to join the other female department directors. Did you know that half of the department directors here in the city are female? The city recognizes it is important to encourage women to pursue careers in fields that have been historically male. KCFD is excited to sponsor Camp Fury, a program with the Girl Scouts of Northeast Kansas and Northwest Missouri to train alongside KCFD female firefighters to learn firefighting and EMS skills and to encourage them to explore career options in public safety. The Buck ONeil Bridge is an important connection between the Northland and south of the river. An environmental study has been completed, and now the city wants your input. Watch this.
The Broadway Bridge is such a well-known landmark that the state of Missouri recently renamed it the Buck ONeil Bridge in honor of a local sports hero. Then, the state discovered that the bridge was falling apart and there was no money to replace it. Right away, Kansas City leaders knew this was bad news.
Cutting off one of those bridges would be devastating to this city.
Almost 45,000 vehicles drive across the bridge every day, but it's more than 60 years old. It's a vital connection to both the downtown and international airports, and it also connects downtown Kansas City to fast-growing neighborhoods and nearby cities north of the river.
The Buck ONeil Bridge is not a city asset as much as it's a regional asset because it serves not only Kansas City, but it serves multiple jurisdictions and other communities around.
But the state said it could only afford to repair the bridge. It would be a temporary fix, not a permanent replacement, and the work would include closing the bridge for 2 years.
To have it shut down for 2 years would be an economic and physical calamity.
We felt like we probably just needed to go ahead and replace it.
Replacing it with something bigger, wider, better with bike pedestrian crossing would be much preferable, and it wouldn't be shut down for 2 years.
Here's the math. The original state plan was a repair job costing $50 million. A new bridge would cost $200 million. So the city negotiated with the state, which then increased its commitment to $100 million if the city could come up with the other half. Kansas City did exactly that, generating the local match in two ways. First, we talked to 8 cities and counties whose residents also depend upon the bridge daily. They agreed to a regional solution which commits 2 cycles of federal surface transportation program funding to the bridge. That will generate $40 million. Kansas City voters approved the other $60 million on April 3, 2018, when they renewed a capital improvement sales tax that includes bridge funding. A new bridge can be built alongside the old one while the old one stays open, and that will prevent an economic slowdown that could be caused if the bridge were to close for repairs. Planning for a new bridge is already underway as part of the Beyond the Loop planning process. This includes gathering community feedback on possible designs. Now that this coalition of cities has pledged regional sacrifice and support, it's time for Congress to allocate a federal share.
We've done our part. Now we need the federal government to step up and do its part.
Allocating a large match of federal funds will send a strong message to metro areas nationwide that working together to create cooperative solutions is good governance that will be rewarded. This project is moving along, and the Missouri governor recently expressed support. So please join us at the Mid-America Regional Council offices on March 10th from 4 to 6 p.m. to review the plan and have your questions answered. For more information, go to kcmo.gov.
Thanks for watching the Weekly Report. I'm Chief Donna Mays with Kansas City Fire Department. Now stay tuned for some more great city videos.
Man, the park is getting a makeover that is unbelievable. I have not seen this park look this good for a long, long time, and it means a lot to our Blue Valley residents and all the kids that come to this park.
The honeysuckle is what we're trying to remove, and we have all 3 districts here, district from the north, the central district, and south district, and tree service. And what it does, it grows wildly here in Kansas City, and people hide around it. Homeless people live in it, and it keeps people from hiding stuff and illegally dumping stuff in it. So it kind of helps keep the parks clean.
Well, we're gaining grassland behind the baseball field and moving all the brush up here. And the forestry department is hauling all the wood off to Missouri Organic on 40 Highway, where it'll be turned into mulch.
Once we finish here, tomorrow the volunteers come in, and then they will start painting Tordon on the honeysuckle to kill the root, and that helps it a lot.
When I do these blitzes, I like working with different districts, just working with different guys, and I live here. So I live in the city. I love that we do this, and it's just wonderful for where we stay at. So
It'll bring a lot more people into the park, because when you can't see in the park, you don't know what's there. So now they can see that there's ball diamonds and there's a place to fish and trails and stuff like that. So there'll be a lot more people coming into Blue Valley Park.
We're KC Parks, helping KC play.
Hi, I'm Rick Jones with the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. If you need assistance with your state and federal tax forms, the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department has partnered with the VITA program through the Internal Revenue Service, the Extensions program through UMKC, AmeriCorps, and the United Way to provide free tax preparation during the tax season. The free tax preparation is for residents with an adjusted gross income of $60,000 or less. No appointment is needed for your free tax preparation. Assistance is provided on a first-come, first-served basis. Join us for one of these 3 sessions at Metro Patrol, 7601 Prospect. They will take place on March 2nd from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., March 3rd from 3:30 to 9:30 p.m., or March 4th from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. For additional information on dates, as well as what documentation and information you should bring, please visit kcpd.org. I'm Community Interaction Officer Rick Jones with KCPD. Have a good day.
Good morning and welcome to Wild Wednesday here at the Kansas City Zoo. I'm your host, Allison, and I'm here with Andrea.
Hello.
And Brian doing training in the background. Now we are behind the scenes at Polar Bear Passage. Now, this looks a little different than the outdoor
For sure,
exhibit,
yeah.
but this is actually where a lot of the magic happens. So what exactly is happening just behind us?
Yeah, so Brian is doing a training session with Berlin. This gives us an opportunity to just kind of see how she's doing. We check everything out. She has a lot of behaviors that allow us to look at different parts of her body. She has an open mouth behavior that we have trained so that we can look at her teeth and make sure her teeth are doing good.
Okay.
We have a paw behavior where she'll lift her paw up so we can see the bottoms of her paws.
Okay.
She has a half and an up position so that we can look at like her belly and kind of maybe parts you don't like see real easily on a day-to-day basis.
It's like just checking out all that full body condition.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool. Now, Berlin has been here at the Kansas City Zoo about how long?
She came here in 2015.
Okay, perfect. And it took her a couple different homes to get here. So
Yes.
what's part of Berlin's story? First, her name. I know she was named the year after the Berlin Wall fell, right?
Yep. She was born like the year the Berlin Wall fell down,
Yeah.
so that's why she was named that. She has a really interesting story. She had spent most of her life at the Duluth Zoo in Minnesota.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they had a really bad flash flood where she was flooded out of her exhibit.
Oh, no.
So she was able to just kind of swim out of her exhibit. The water kind of rose that quickly.
Wow.
And they were fortunate to be able to get her back safely, but then their exhibit was ruined, so they didn't have anywhere to send her. So she went to the Como Zoo in Minnesota just because they're a neighboring zoo for about 6 months. But they had a couple of polar bears. They didn't really have a lot of room for her. And so then we were fortunate enough to be able to get her down here, and she's been here ever since.
Yay! And the Kansas City Zoo has a very nice big home for polar bears.
We do.
And we've got, it's the life of luxury for a lady like her.
Yes.
She's got plenty to do on exhibit. And we know, I've noticed over the years that Berlin, she's a particular bear. She likes to do things when she likes to do things. And I think maybe that comes with many seasons.
Right.
she's a well-seasoned bear.
She gets to make a lot of her own choices on how she spends her time.
Now, what age is Berlin about right now?
So she's 29.
Okay, is that classified as a geriatric bear?
It definitely is, yeah. She's an older bear. Usually in zoos, like 30s is getting to be pretty old.
Wow.
In the wild, 20s is getting to be pretty old.
Oh,
so
wow.
because of the excellent health care, the steady supply of food, they're able to live a lot longer in zoos.
That's really cool. Okay, so then that makes me think, all right, then there's some adjustments that have to be made as she ages, because just like people, their bodies start to age. So what are the things you guys start to notice about Berlin that's different from when maybe she was younger and spry?
Yeah, I mean, we did get her when she's 23, so she's kind of always been an older animal, but we were aware that we were getting an older animal and kind of have been proactive from the beginning to make sure that all of her needs are met as she ages.
Yeah.
We do a pain scale where we basically just like, does she look like she's having a hard time moving around, getting up? Do you hear her joints popping, like kind of things like that. So we track really closely like any changes that are occurring with her.
Wow.
She's been a very healthy bear. She hasn't had a lot of issues, but as you get older, I think as a person gets older, you start to get a little more aches and pains, a little arthritis, like things like that. So that's basically what we watch for her. And she is exhibiting some signs of things like stiffness and soreness and things like that.
So through this training, how are you guys able to help monitor those things that are happening to her physically?
Yeah, so a lot of it's just visual, again, day to day. When she's laying down and she gets up, like what does that look like? But we do have a couple of more advanced trained behaviors. Probably our biggest one is we're able to get a voluntary blood draw from Berlin.
Oh,
so
wow.
she will put her paws into these little ports and just hold while we draw blood from her.
Yeah.
We try to do that every 2 weeks. Just one, so she keeps up with the behavior. So like if we ever need it, we'll be able to get it.
Yeah.
But that gives us a wealth of information.
Okay.
So animal health is able to look at that and kind of check all of her levels, make sure that there's maybe not something going on that we can't maybe see outwardly, but that's going on inside of her. So we're able to monitor all of that a lot more closely.
Oh, that's so cool. And she's helping with her own healthcare, which
Yes,
is
yeah,
pretty
and
cool.
it's all voluntary. If she wants to leave, even now training with Brian, if she wants to leave at any time, she can leave.
Yeah.
So she's choosing to be here and participate. She chooses to hold her paw there while we draw blood. her reward is she gets some nice fun treats. So
what treats are we getting today? Like her Dr. Lolly.
Yes, so today she's getting canned chicken, which is one of her favorites.
Wow, all right. Berlin, you are a surprise. She likes all kinds of treats. What are other things that you guys give as treats for events like this?
Lots of canned meats work really well. Yeah. These bears mostly eat meat in the wild, but she also does like produce. So apples and melons are also pretty high up on the list of things that she likes.
Wow, so maybe if you see chunks of that floating in the water, you know where it came
exactly.
from. I'm a very large bear. That's so cool. Now, I do have one question. We talked about this earlier. We talked about how Berlin is a woman with her own mission.
Yes.
So is she the best patient? Does she do pretty well for the doctors?
It depends on maybe it's the time of day even, or the day of the week. Like I said, she gets to choose everything. So she's doing a fantastic job here. She's training and participating, which is great. Some days she comes in, she sees the food that we have, she's not interested, she leaves. So it's really completely up to her. She tends to go through phases, I would say. Wild polar bears go through phases in the year where they eat a lot and then they don't eat so much. So she kind of does that here on her own. So if she's going through a phase where she's hungry and she feels like she needs to bulk up for winter, which is kind of where we are now, she trains really well. But then when she's more in that phase where she's not as hungry, wanting to slim down for the summer, she doesn't train quite as well because food isn't as much of a motivator for her.
That makes sense. The hotter it gets, the less you want to do. You're
right.
more of a slug. I get it, Berlin. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Now, one last question. You guys, you get to see and train and be with her all the time. But when vet staff comes around, is that a different story when these behaviors are asked for? Or is it just helpful to have you guys there?
She definitely reacts differently when the vet staff's there. When we started the blood draw training, we thought it was really important that the animal health staff be involved through that whole process. So not just the getting the blood. So we have one particular animal health staff that comes down. She came down, she feeds treats to Berlin, builds a relationship. So a lot of it's about building relationship with these animals so that they trust you, they know you're not gonna hurt them. So we include the animal health staff in that training process. So they come down and participate with the training as well.
That's awesome. So Berlin, you've made all kinds of new friends in your years here in Zoo World, which is awesome. Well, thank you so much, Andrea, for talking to us today. Thank you, Brian, for helping us out. I'm sure Berlin thanks you a lot. But we hope you guys have enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look here at the Kansas City Zoo. Join us next week for another Wild Wednesday. See you later, everybody.